We're now going to talk about process management. And in the theories behind process management, we're going to look at Hammer and Champy, Geary Rumler, Peter Checkland, and Eli Goldratt. Michael Hammer was an engineer, a software engineer working for IBM before he became a management author and a professor of computer science at MIT. His interesting movement into the world of process engineering came about when he could no longer deliver what he considered to be functioning information systems without changing the way that the business operated. And he coined the term business process re-engineering. And his book was published in 1993, Re-engineering the Corporation, a Manifesto for Business Revolution, co-authored with James Champy. It was instrumental in capturing the focus of the business community towards BPR. 2.5 million copies of the book were sold, and it remained on the New York Times bestseller list for a very long time. Geary Rumler, one of the co-authors of what became known as the Rumler-Beisch model, or swim lane diagrams, and there's a picture of one there, was an expert on process design, particularly for what he referred to as managing the white space on the org chart. His edict was design for 80% and build separate paths for the exceptions. Eliminate or reduce the impact of low-value steps. Simplify complex steps. Combine simple steps into single activities. Work to design quality into the work rather than inspection steps. Use parallel paths wherever possible. Broaden job content and empower employees. And don't design things to the task level unless the risk of variation is unacceptable and you're willing to invest in testing prior to implementation. Now, these steps that Geary Rumler identifies, this is a lot of what the internet business models deliver. They simplify existing processes. They identify something that's already being done, remove complexity, and make it very easy. I would argue that this is what Uber has done to taxi bookings. And they've built a new business model out of it, obviously. The swim lane diagram is a great way of representing what you're doing, and it has a few simple rules. All business processes start and end with an external customer is the most important one. And if you draw your process diagram starting and ending with an external customer, you get a complete look at what's going on. And this is another Geary Rumler principle. You have to look at the entire process. You cannot optimize certain parts of the process. You have to look at for the entire process. Peter Checkland, management scientist, the developer of what's called soft systems methodology, and he talks about the difference between the real world and systems thinking about the real world, where we take a real world problem, we abstract that into a thinking about the problem, and we have to take it back to the real world and to implement it. And in this framework, the map is not the territory. The map is identification or a guidepost to the territory, but it's not the territory itself. Eli Goldratt, I would hope that many of you have heard of Goldratt. He wrote a book called The Goal, was his most famous book, and that was how to apply optimized production techniques and theory of constraints to improving production processes. Okay, next we're going to talk about teams.